two here. I'm not sure how we're going to manage with timing. I see that we are 23 so far. I don't know. Ambrose and Vincent, did you agree on a number to target? David, so did you agree on a number to target before we start?
I think instead of targeting a number, we'll target time. And yes, go on, Prof.
The zone taught us to be 15 minutes earlier for every activity and exactly on the time we start. You don't wait for people who are not there because they are not there. Otherwise, you start praising them for being late.
I'm wondering what he would say, how he would respond to that.
He's on the screen. He can attest to what he taught us to be.
We have to start on time.
I agree with that.
Damien's head is cut in two. Damien, come here.
Yes,
You're hiding behind your pots. Stand up higher. Up. That's it. Oh, that's too much. Like that. Okay.
That size, eh?
Yes. This is better.
You
I
know,
have to change
Alex,
location, but there might be more distraction here.
We see somebody. Ambrose, you have got light in your face. Close the curtain.
Yeah, too much. No, it's. I don't know. It's always like that.
The light. No, it's the light.
Yes, there is a light in my face. It has nothing to do with an external light.
Oh.
It's even when I do it in the darkness, it's like that, unfortunately.
Oh, you're a light shining in the darkness. Okay.
Professor, good to see you again.
Yes, Annette. How are you?
I'm fine, Professor. How are you today? Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Alex, I was just about to tell you that in this case, it is only Professor Bajire's prayer that can help bring the numbers in time. So I guess if it is himself who says the opening prayer, then maybe people might hurry up.
You are spot on.
Yeah.
Am I not?
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, spot on. Yeah.
Okay. I think we are going to start. View of the lessons we've learned over the years and having been mentored to recognize the importance of time. So I would like to welcome you all. Please keep encouraging our friends and fellow alumni to keep joining in the respective groups. I see we are now at 30 participants.
Yeah.
The number is growing. So before we get into the details of today's session, allow me to welcome you briefly, and then also welcome Vincent Bajire, our pioneer alumni, or rather, pioneer Umusu Union president, to open this session with a prayer, and then we move on from there. So Vincent, you're welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Alex. Let's put ourselves in the prayer in the name of the Father, of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord Jesus, in the footsteps of the Uganda Matters, we gather today. We left our homes from different parts of the country. We moved down to Uganda Matters at Inkozi and all the different campuses. There we spent time, months and years, and we came out with knowledge. We came out with skills. We came out with the knowledge and the zeal to love you, to serve society and the community. We left the campus, Uganda Matters University, and we went as ambassadors. May the Uganda Matters enable us to continue living this philosophy, zeal, this commitment. And as we gather tonight to share experiences, to renew our commitment to each other, the commitment of the Uganda Matters, May we ask their intercession to keep us together, to strengthen us, and to enable us come out with deliberations that will lead to action. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Vincent. So I'll quickly go into the main business of today. First of all, it's you know, with humility, I would like to thank the executive that approached me and selected me in moderating today's online reunion. My task is to make sure that the conversations we have today are well directed and the outcomes are connected with all the ambitions that we have set for ourselves. Now, my first task is to introduce our keynote speaker and then shortly invite them to give us, I'll call them words of wisdom. And I call them words of wisdom because today's session is a conversation. It's a fireplace in typical Ambrose lingua, and in typically the objective of coming together as a reunion. And of course, given how we were taught at Uganda Matters to be uniquely, you know, citizens that always come together to have conversations that contribute to change. So our keynote speaker today is well known among us, but it is always important to remind ourselves who they are. Professor Michel Lejeune is, among others, a man of important firsts in Uganda's higher education. He is, or was, for that matter, the founding Vice Chancellor of Uganda Matters University, having joined and started it in 1993. The founder and chairman board of trustees, the Virtual University of Uganda, the first fully virtual university in sub-Saharan Africa in 2010. Founder member and first chairman of the Vice Chancellor's Forum of Uganda in 1995, a position he was later re-elected to serve in 2016-2019. During his tenure as Vice Chancellor of Virtual University of Uganda, that he complemented with his tenure at the Vice Chancellor's Forum. Following the completion of his tenure as Vice Chancellor of UMU, Michel was appointed the Deputy Executive Director of the National Council for Higher Education. And that was between 2006 and 2010. So a lot of these responsibilities were important. Even in his retirement from formal engagement, Michel continues to embody youthful vibrancy in spirit, thought, and action. His name, Lejeune, means youthfulness, and you can see from the video and the smile that comes with it. He remains passionately reflective on the connection between education and development as a holistic pursuit. We all look forward to being stimulated by his insights, begotten of his great experience as an outstanding educator, mentor, thought leader, and pace setter. What is his vision of what UMUA could be and could be? We are looking forward to listening to this. For those personally known to him, it's a golden moment to reminisce the good old days. Michel, I welcome you, and it is your stage now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alex. And good afternoon to everybody present. It's a real pleasure. It's a real pleasure for me to be here and to exchange a few ideas. I'm not going to make a speech. That's not my style. I prefer to throw some ideas, which may be disturbing sometimes, but which may be fruitful. But before I do that, I would like to ask somebody to come and say hello to you. Professor Carabine, you remember her. Well, she's coming and she's just to say hello to everybody. For those who remember her, at least for the first 13 years of the university, here she is.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Nice to see so many familiar faces.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hi.
Hi.
Good to see you, Dee.
Hello, my choir teacher.
have now retired, so I'm now back to my own academic work, which is wonderful. So I wish you a very enjoyable meeting, and I'm sure you will remember his style. It's very informal. So enjoy your discussion this afternoon. Bye.
Thank you, Dee. Good. I have to look at names. I have to put on my glasses. Félicien, EDS 2000-2003. But he has grown a beard, huh? Dennis Muvangisi, where is he? Well, he has no picture, so we can't see him. Anyhow, all of you, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I've been asked to say a few words on, well, Ambrose has entitled it with a big title, Confronting the Future Together. Lessons from COVID about the role of the alumni associations. It's a big word, but, you know, within the thing, there is something fantastic. Confront the future. You all remember that when we were together at UMU, that's something I always said. You're here for a short period of time, and we are preparing together for the future that remains. But today, we're living in a very special situation, under very special circumstances. I'm locked up in my house here. I can't even go out with my car. So this morning I went shopping to the village in Bunga. You walk, huh? You walk. It's good for your health. A few kilometers walking, and you come back with some fresh vegetables. What else do you want? Anyhow, what has that year been? That's going to be my first question. Secondly, I will draw some lessons from that year. And then lastly, I will give you a few ideas of how I see the future, the way forward for the alumni, not for the world around us. We're going to focus on the Alumni Association of UMU. What has the year been for us all? Well, a year of uncertainty, a year of fear, sickness for many people, lockdown, all kinds of stories we hear, true or false, imaginary or just fake news, as they call it. But worse, I have noticed also a lot of selfishness in some people. You have certainly heard oxygen cylinders were stolen from hospitals. Ambulances were never delivered. Vaccines disappeared. Fake vaccines were given to people. Funds were collected to help in this period. Where is that money? And so forth, and so forth, and so forth. And this is a bit distressing. That's the negative part. But it's a reality we have to face. We cannot say this is just a small thing, it will go, it has no importance. It is of great importance because it has marked the mind of many people that many things are possible. What does it matter? They will never find me. And I don't care what happens to others. Well, I do care. Because what is happening, some people have taken things from others, be it only money or even food. And the small people, the little people who didn't have anything, have less. And they are crying. And we don't do anything for them. And this is a bit the situation we are living in. But on the other hand, in that atmosphere of uncertainty, in that atmosphere of fear, there has been a lot of hope and a lot of things happening, which have been absolutely smashing and great for the people around us. So that brings me to lessons we can learn from this year. Okay, the picture I've given you, it might be a bleak picture, but I did it on purpose, to just keep our head focused. But what lessons can we read in all this and draw from all this? We have seen in many instances people relying on one another, people doing a lot for one another. In families, couples have come together, couples have strengthened. Workspaces have taken a new outlook. People are working from home, but nevertheless, they keep in touch with the people with whom they work. And it's a different contact. It's maybe a more vivid, more lively contact. As a society also, things have changed. There is concern. There are people concerned about others. I've met so many people who say, but what can we do? It's a shame what is happening. How do we get over that? How do we improve the situation? So the question is, how can we assess all this? Well, as I said, on many occasions, I have seen groups come together and be creative, imaginative, and do something for others with small things. You remember the first years, those who were there, the very first years of the COSI. We did lots of things with small things. We used broken things on campus and we patched them up and repaired them, and they looked very good. They looked really good. Well, today is the same thing. Things have been broken. We have to repair them. We have to make sure that something comes out of it. I have seen in many occasions where people came together because there were moments of sorrow to support the others and to be good to others. I've seen small people giving small things to others because they had nothing, and they gave of the little things they had. There have been big people who have given big things, and maybe we don't see it, but all that has seeped down into society. Now, my question to you is, did we, you and me, come together and feel closer together during this year? In your families, in your workplace, and the society around us, in your village, in your surrounding in town where you're living? Have you come closer together, or have you become strangers? I think it's important that we are facing that and not have the fear to be told, well, listen, you were not there and I needed you. And that reminds me of a text somewhere in the Gospel in Matthew. I was hungry and you didn't come and feed me. I was in prison, you didn't visit me. I was sick, you didn't visit me. In today's word, we can say, I was hungry. Did you help me? I was sick. I had COVID. Did you do something to help me or my family? And so forth, and so forth, and so forth. So many occasions which were challenging for us, and maybe we didn't do anything. So the lesson we can draw from that, if we didn't do enough, and if honestly we feel that we didn't do enough, what can we do as from today? And that's where we come to a way forward. Because a way forward there has to be, as an alumni association. In the first years of the association, it was difficult. But how many are we now? How many thousands are we? Out of that group of thousands, there must be some hundreds who are willing to come together and do things together. There are hundreds who want to be participating in the growth of society and maybe go against the trends in certain parts of society. I have told you about things which disappeared, which were not done correctly. Have we got the courage to go against it? I'm not asking anybody to go and stand in front of a bullet, but I'm asking one another, and I'm asking myself, How can I stand in front of hunger, in front of sickness, in front of sorrow? And there, an alumni association can do a lot, because amongst our members, there must have been some who have suffered from small things like hunger, which is not a small thing for many, suffered of sickness in the family, and they didn't know what to do, suffered of being rejected by others. How were they brought back into society? As alumni in our own association, do we do something to bring us back together, closer to one another? This is, for me, a very important question for an alumni association. Do not turn an alumni association into a club of wealthy people because we are university graduates. Turn it into a group of people who are concerned with one another and want to do something together for the others. We have based our training and what we are today on principles, on values. Don't throw them out of the window. Keep them in your life and see how you can pick one or two of these values and make it a reality around you. And this is important, friends. This is very important. I've always said in the beginning, we will have one day to have an alumni association. Well, it's there now. It was difficult in the beginning, and Vincent will remember all the first meetings we had with our group. We were not understood. People said, oh, doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter. And you matter today for one another. First, you matter in your families. You are married, you're not married, doesn't matter. You matter in your families. And you have to make that stronger and stronger every day. Now, we know one another. Many amongst us are friends amongst colleagues of the university, younger or older. Do we come together informally? Are we concerned about the others? As members of the association, how far can we go to do this? And I was wondering, have we ever thought that some of us who are maybe better versed in dealing with human problems like psychological problems, even mental problems, some of us to be at the disposal of others to help them? Have you ever thought of that? That our alumni association create a small nucleus of people who are there willing to help others, just like that. Not to make money, not to become rich, but to make the others better alumni. And that's what we have to do. Have we ever thought of creating something through which we could help some other alumni financially? Because I know some have got problems. Some are not successful as many of us might be successful. And some are finding hard times, are having hard times. Have we ever thought of pooling something together so that we can get something out of it to help? Not much, but help. Just to go around the corner, to make life easier, more comfortable. We can do that as alumni. We can do that. The others, the closest to us, are our families. But the next group, I think, is our friends of the university as alumni. Our alumni association has got big projects for Nkosi, to want to put the buildings and so on. That's all very good. But this is something you put up, it's there, and people will say, oh yes, the alumni did it. But more deeply, dealing with humans, you and me, that's so much more important. And that will bear much more fruit in the future. People will maybe not see it, but people will feel it. And people who have grown into such a mentality and benefited of the goodness and the togetherness and the compassion and the friendliness of their friends as alumni will not forget that. This is something you cannot forget. My late father always said, when I was a young boy, he said, you will never be good enough in your life. Never. You can never be too good. And that doesn't mean you have to do big things, but your hand has to be there like this, not like that. Like that, it means thank you, not you, not me, not you. Like this, you're welcome. And that's what alumni are there for. A group of welcome people, people who make you feel welcome. Friends, that's what I'm calling for. Let's be creative and set up little pockets left, right, and center where our colleagues and friends will feel at home. I'm not calling for setting up mammoth funds and huge bank accounts and no. I'm calling that we get back to that initial spirit of cooperation, of togetherness, of being friends for the same purpose. I know that in all universities, some of the past students will disappear in society. You'll never hear of them again. That's normal. Some people forget about it. Their university was a pathway through a life of their own. But there is always a big group of us who want to do something together. That's the Alumni Association. Friends, I wanted to share these few ideas. Based on our experience of this past year and a half, COVID is not nice. It's nasty. And we should not underestimate it. It's not finished. It may still last for some time before it's completely out of the way. But we will get out of it. We will definitely get out of it. But what we have lived together this year and a half, let's carry it forward and make it felt by all of us in what we do and what we are. That's what I wanted to tell you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michel. I'm sure those who know how to use the little salutation emojis can use them on the Zoom link. You have shared a very rich set of words of wisdom, which I am going to summarize briefly, and then I will introduce the next part of this session. From your presentation, you emphasized perhaps 3 areas we need to look at. You started by reminding us that this has been a period of adversity. So a lot of suffering and a period where people have lived in fear and uncertainty given the challenges of COVID currently. And then the second part of that reminded us that we need to be unified to be able to get out of this adversity. So the second message was about the importance of coming back together. And the purpose of today's session is a form of that, reunion, coming back together. And the final bit was the idea of mobilization. So the role of the Alumni Association as a mobilization conduit. So this idea of mobilization for resources, mobilization for ideas, but what you emphasized was mobilization of people, mobilizing ourselves to care for each other, to stay in touch with each other, but reminding us that it all comes down to how we make each other feel and stay in touch as key, drivers of the change that we were taught to make throughout our years at Uganda Matters. So I hope I've been able to capture the message in its, very wide scope with those 3 key words. Adversity, this is going to be part of our lives. Unity, we need to remain unified. And then thirdly, we need to mobilize ourselves to grow. And I thank you for those words. And I think they provide a very good foundation for the next part of our session. The next part of the session is bringing together three well-selected alumni to begin, elaborating the ideas that you've brought forward. One of them is a pioneer student of Uganda Matters. Her name is Annette Nanyanzi. Nanyanzi was also the vice president of OMUSU in 1994, and she is a chartered accountant with over 20 years experience working with development organizations, social enterprises, and the private sector, including banking, insurance, agriculture, and telecom industries. The second discussant is Bernard Mujuni. Bernard Mujuni is the Chief Executive Officer of Workplaces Nyungu Yamawe Forest Park. He graduated with an MBA E for Impact in 2020 of Uganda Matters University. What is interesting is the experience he brought with him as a student, as a holder of a Bachelor of Laws and a Master of Arts. He's the fellow of the Leadership and Sustainability United Nations. He's a fellow of the Leadership and Sustainability section of the United Nations University of Tokyo in Japan. And then the third discussant is our president of the Alumni Association, Ambrose Chibuka Mukibi, whose portfolio we are all familiar with. I won't even mention the acres of coverage he has made in social change, if I may briefly put it that way. And he's the driver of change at the association currently. So I welcome these three discussants, and perhaps to kick off, I would like, Annette, give us one key takeaway you would like to anchor to who you are as a social capital mobilizer in your current portfolio. What would you like to emphasize as part of Michelle's big message, and anchor it to who you are as a social capital mobilizer? Annette.
Thank you, Alex. I'm excited to be part of the UMU alumni. Yes, in these tough times, social support can't be underrated. And the UMU alumni is a foundation for this, what we would call social capital. Whom you know, who knows you, and how they know you. We need to leverage on these social relationships to make sure that we support our current alumni and our future alumni. I'll zero on the job leads and business support. You find that UMU students are struggling to get placed, yet after 25 years of UMU, we should be expecting job placement not to be an issue for Uganda Matters University students. And COVID has led to a lot of job losses. Actually, I lost my job in the first wave of the COVID pandemic, and it's taken over a year to get another placement. But using social support and social connections, we're able to support our fellow alumni and support other people. I'll talk about entrepreneurs in the alumni. You find that there are a number of them in the society, but we are not supporting each other in terms of business growth. How do we support each other to promote our businesses? How do we brand UMU in the areas we work or the places we work to be able to be the preferred brand, both locally, in the region, or even internationally? Are we agile? Do we do what we do with exception while we're at our workplaces? Do we use the referral system to refer fellow alumni into job placements? I'll just give one or two examples. My first job after Uganda Matters University was through a referral process. When our results were out, my dad looked at them and said, wow, this is good performance. he wrote a small note to an OB of his saying, our daughter has finished university, what do we do? 2 weeks down the road, I was in a job at former Now Bank, now ABSA. Through social connection, I was able to tap on those connections. As alumni, we have kids about to come to university and to seek job placements. Recently, in our current company, Nogamo, it's an agricultural movement, we are looking for interns. This program manager brought a list of interns, but Uganda Matters wasn't represented. So I go like, how come Uganda Matters is not represented? He goes like, Uganda Matters is not responding to the call for candidates for internship. And this was a project in agriculture, and we know Uganda Matters is well placed to do this placement. So I called David, who is the alumni coordinator of the Uganda Matters University. He says, oh, we got changes, but let me see what I can do. I'm glad to say that next week we have interviews where Uganda Matters students have been listed for internship. This is the support we need. I hope by this reunion we'll come up with ways on how to leverage on the UMU brand, to see how we support the university, to see how we support our fellow alumni. Yeah, let's get connected and see what we can do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annette, for your extension of the points that Michelle raised, and particularly of social capital and its role in career growth, professional growth, but also community connections. So, and that is something we'll come back to during the course of these discussions, and of course when we listen to the wider group that is following us online. Now, I would like to draw Bernard in. Bernard, you know your role as a leader, especially around sustainability. I am keen to hear how you connect sustainability in the growth of associations like this. What are some of the tips you have for the association to become a sustainable enterprise for that matter?
All right, thank you so much. I think first of all, I want to thank the professor for the job well done. My take is that we must examine ourselves internally and externally, or inwardly and outwardly. It's not business as usual, and therefore we must re-examine the whole entire ecosystem around us. And of course, this COVID has taught us a lesson. Adversity, yes, but also connecting the dots. You must now go into soul searching and connect the dots behind and front and up front, because the way COVID comes and leaves, you'll never be the same, even your businesses, even as an individual. The other aspect is about putting out our resources, whatever resources that we have, both human, economic, social, and all the resources. Uganda is a blue and green rich economy, and we are sitting on jobs. It's like sitting on gold mine, and you start crying of what to do with it. There's a lot around environment, a lot around God-given, even nature that we can tap into. I mean, the other time I was at Kayabwe, and I was at an eating place alongside that drive for such a long time. It was just a bush, and someone came and put a very social place, a petrol station, yes, but also an area for meeting, and people are meeting every day. Buses are stopping there. People, it's a social safeguard. So we must look at available resources and tap into them and create sustainable impact. To me, that is a very, very, very big lesson, and it must start with ourselves. Yeah, inward looking and tapping into the resources that are available. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard, for a very succinct message and what I like about that is the importance of reflective practice, to stop and reflect on who we are and where we are today. And an interesting addition to that is Uganda matters, and the region for that matter, being strategically located geographically, and the huge resource that we have, literally the way you literally put it as sitting on gold. So I think Ambrose becomes the best person to tie this together. Where is the gold you see that you think we are sitting on? How do we mine it? And I ask you these questions in a very open-ended nature, because I know you have a mind for stringing a few things together. We have gold. How do we mine it, Ambrose?
Well, thank you very much, Alex. Thank you very much, Professor Annette and Bernard. I think the dots are connecting, Alex, and I'm super excited this afternoon. One, I'll begin quickly from a comment that Professor made, an observation. Can we be there for each other? And I want to say that whereas as an association, as a formal entity, have largely not succeeded so much at doing what we ought to do at the formal front, at the informal level, it's amazing the kind of connectedness that exists among the alumni. The 2 alumni WhatsApp groups I'm on, it's amazing. You never see anybody. Even just this, I think last night, Annette posted someone who is going through trials and tribulations, and people converge quickly to come in and support, and this is happening all the time. You see people who are really in spirit, are very concerned about each other. So I think it shows us, and again, I hope this will sound like music to Professor Michel and others, that yes, the message sank, the values are embedded. People picked a lot that they are living with. Could it be better? Yes, and that's where now I come in, Alex. I've usually thought that, the alumni, we are coming to 30,000 now, almost. We are counting towards 30,000 alumni of Uganda Matters University. That's how big the number is. Our potential is enormous. And what we need now to do is to do more of this, which we are doing this afternoon, to have these conversations, to know each other. Because like Bernard has said, look, the resources, the resourcefulness is among us. We have people here like Bernard. I mean, we don't have all the time to explore people's profiles. If you look at Bernard's profile, it's amazing. All these guys who have done for impact, you hardly find any of them who is not excelling in business. But even the others who are career professionals, they are running successful enterprises. They have all these connections. Problem is, we are not connecting as we ought to be. And this, for me, I think is a powerful starting point, Alex. And I think, to conclude, I think that, and I've shared this in a newsletter that I've already shared on some of the groups, just came out today. It will help to bring out some of the plans that we have. I believe that, one, as a university, Uganda Matters University, having been named after the Uganda Matters, it's for a purpose. These guys embody what we call the mustard seed. That, in their small ways, with their little faith, they have come to influence the whole of Uganda. Now we have a whole public holiday, and globally, the wave is eating up. And in many ways, I think that Uganda Matters University should be that for this country. That if it comes to influencing policy, Uganda Matters should be at the forefront. If it comes to setting the trends in the private sector, Uganda Matters should be at the forefront of that. And I think that we, the alumni, also should be that. We should be the mustard seed, we should be the salt in here, and we have no reason not to be, by virtue of the kind of education that we have received and by virtue of the who we are. So I think that moving forward, we have to be thinking about how do we collect all these scattered resourcefulnesses, or the resourcefulness of the alumni, which is scattered. How do we bring it together so that we can have that big bang impact that the Uganda Matters continue to have on Uganda, the society, but also the trend is that globally, as you can see, people are increasingly coming for the pilgrimage at Namugongo. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambrose. Annette, Ambrose, and Bernard have made it relatively easy for me to now bring in the audience even much earlier, because there are a lot of things they have raised that for which I would like to hear the audience say something. So I would like to take 3 comments or 3 questions, whatever you feel comfortable in doing. Unmute and share your thoughts. Yes, I see Jacob. Jordan Jacob, I see your hand is up. It's the first one I've seen. Please come in. A quick comment, a quick question.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank everyone for this opportunity. My question is this: how do we tap on the government?
Did I lose Jack?
And the political, and I'm saying, how do we tap on?
Jordan, I'm not sure whether it's just me, but Jordan is not, Jordan, your link is not helping you. I advise that you type your question in the chat, please. Jordan, please type your question in the chat. I'll appreciate
on
that.
the government and the political.
Jordan,
Hello?
please type into the chat, please.
I'm sorry about that. I'm asking that how do we as alumni tap on the government and political wing? Now that we are blessed to have alumni in the government, the university needs support as well as the alumni association needs support. What if we create alumni, government and political wing to spearhead the university support in terms of the projects that we can think of? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. Your question has been registered. It will be responded to at an appropriate time. May I have 2 more, please? Feel free. Okay, JB, I see JB, your hand is up. JB, please go ahead and share.
Yes, thank you, Alex, moderator. Thank you, Professor Vision, for the opening of this conversation this afternoon. My name is John Bosco Alege, 2001, 2004. Fond memories of UMO when I see this platform. And I have had several meetings with the Legion in his office regarding my future, and I'm happy to report here that I think I'm where I am because of the conversations I had with you. Now, 2 things very quickly in the interest of time. One is I can confirm all that colleagues have said so far, beginning with Professor Lejeune up to Ambrose, in terms of the values that UMO has inculcated in us. I currently train healthcare workers, and I will tell you that we have a handful of UMO alumni who are actually working with that institution. And I'll tell you that the values that are coming out from that place is a typical replica. So in terms of what are the fruits from UMO, I can clearly tell you that the values-based approach, the values that we have, because one of the things a professor said in the beginning was the issue of our current healthcare system, you know, vaccines being fake, ambulances being not delivered. I was really touched because those are the things that we are currently confronting. And so if we can continue influencing positively our society in terms of the work ethic that we learned from UMO, in terms of integrity, in terms of doing the right thing at the right time in the right place, I think that will really go a long way in influencing society. My second comment is regarding the web, connecting the dots, which Ambrose commented on a little bit. I think we have an enormous wealth in terms of over the 30,000 alumni almost that Ambrose was talking about across the East and Central African region. What about, beyond focusing on the inside, the inclusive, the inside approach? I don't remember the right word Bernard used, but instead of us looking inwardly, can we start exploring, connecting dots? Now that we're talking about the East African community, what about tapping on our colleagues who are in Burundi, in Rwanda, in Kenya, South Sudan? I think that also in itself, one, in terms of mobilization, but also in terms of looking for opportunities. Thank you. Over to you, Alex.
Thank you, JB, for those comments. We will continue listening to the round of questions and comments. Okay, I see Cassius. Cassius, please go ahead. Dennis, I see you. Eli, I also see you. You will come shortly. Cassius, please.
Yes. My name is Sachi Cassius David, and I'm also the current union president of Umusu. I'm very happy that Mr. Ambrose is on this platform because I remember we had a facilitation by him, and he mentioned all these good things that they had about Umu in the past. So my question is like how the association can come in to assist the university in its current state. Because let's face it, very many people tell us good things about Uganda Matters University, and we all want them to be back. When you look at the connections that have been mentioned right now, how can we tap into those connections to bring in funding? How can we tap into those connections to bring in technical support? Anything to assist the university in the current state. Because as has been mentioned by even Professor, very many things are not right. Some things are broken and we need to fix them. And I wonder how the Alumni Association can come in and assist the university in its current state. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassius, Union President, for a very practical question. I will now invite Eli Kasiria to go ahead and provide his comment.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
can you hear me?
Can.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My name is Eli Kasirie. I'm a human rights defender. I work with the Foundation for Human Rights Initiative. I also chair the Wachiso District Human Rights Committee. I'm very happy to be here. I got my master's degree from Uganda Matters in human rights and local governance, and that has shaped and also given me a lot of knowledge while doing my work at Wachiso. It is the first alumni engagement that I'm joining, and for me, I think this is an opportunity to actually interact with people. And I have a request that moving forward, we should make sure that maybe everyone who is here joins. I heard Mr. Chivuka talking about the WhatsApp group and other social networking platforms. I think there should be a deliberate move to see that all of us are on some of those social networking groups. I have also a few points to bring across. One, the current president talked about alumni involvement in the current state of the university. I'm thinking there should be a deliberate effort. And I think this should come from the university itself to see that there is a deliberate effort to involve alumni in all that is happening at the university, because sometimes universities have different programs, and it is actually very hard for people to come in and see how to get involved unless there is a deliberate effort from the administration so that alumni take part in all the activities. I understand right now we are coming up with a law. I've had the law course is coming up at Uganda Matters University. How are we going to tap into the existing resource that is involved, that is in the alumni network? Right now, I work with the Foundation for Human Rights Initiative. It is an organization that has helped a lot to build law schools for many universities. So how do we now tap into Foundation for Human Rights Initiative to say that at least because of the alumni, because FHRI has already given an award to a human rights award to Uganda Matters, how do we strengthen this partnership so that at least there is that continuity? And also looking out for new members, as I said, do we have, I attended this year's graduation at Uganda Matters, but I didn't see how any presentation on how people join the alumni network. So how do people actually understand the method and the operations of the alumni network? How do they join? How do they, when do they meet? So I thought that should be very, very deliberate and open, that maybe at every graduation, there is at least somehow, or a presentation somewhere where someone mentions about the alumni network and how those people graduating can benefit or join this alumni network. I think for now, I want to thank the efforts for coming up with this Zoom call. When I saw it, I said I shouldn't miss, but also let it be a starting point to see that at least such engagements continue, and also see that every alumni, at least we should map our people, understand their capabilities, and see that at least they participate in most of the things that are happening at the university, and that the deliberate move should come from the university, so that there is that window where we can always come and tap into. Thank you.
Oops. Thank you very much, Ellie. I would like to stop here. Dennis, I see you. Jacqueline, I see you. And I also see Sempa. We will come back to you as the first round of either to ask questions or to comment. I just want to make sure we don't lose track of the momentum of ideas that are coming through. So at this point, I'm going to invite my discussants to focus on one of these three things. I would like Ambrose to speak to this idea of the connection between the Alumni Association and the Student Union, and how we can help keep this, and what plans you have to do that. Then I would like Bernard, using his experience as a leader in sustainability, but also his background as a lawyer, to help us understand stakeholder engagement. I do not want us to get to a point where we confuse what government's role is and what the political fraternity is, and how to be strategic in how we engage these different stakeholders that are key in growing our alumni association. Then perhaps Annette will conclude with, given that you are a pioneer student and all your experience with social networking and gathering social capital, what are those things about UMU that you feel we need to reinforce, because you think the picture about the values that we were given while there, whereas it's accurate, we don't want to take things for granted. What do you feel that we need to reinforce even better, so that JB's message is taken advantage of, if I may put it that way? So Ambrose, up to you. Ambrose, you need to unmute, please.
Thank you for the reminder. I want to thank David, the UMUSU president, for that succinct question. Now, one of the things we have been doing in the background is, as the executive, is to figure out how can we transform UMOA so that it becomes a vibrant association that is relevant to all the different stakeholders, the various categories of alumni. And one of the things that we know for a fact is that if we do not succeed at nurturing the alumni spirit when people are still students at UMO, it's very hard. And one of the occasions I have had with the staff at UMO, I have emphasized that this is very important in shaping how attached people become when they graduate from the university, how attached they are. So to the UMUSU president, as I did highlight when I met you, the leader, we have one of the 4 objectives that we are proposing. We have proposed the constitutional review, and we have highlighted areas that need to be reviewed. And one of the 4 objectives we have developed is focusing on UMOA hand-holding UMUSU, meaning that we have a broad array of programs we have put in place. And I want to encourage all of us to visit the UMOA website. It is new, it is still under development, but there is already a lot of content there. It is umualumni.com, as simple as that, umualumni.com. There are a lot of programs targeting the current students. We know that we have to support the UMUSU leadership if they are to help the entire student body. And we know also now that it is not just about Unkozi, because UMO has different campuses now, a number of campuses. And that's why the union, now the meaning comes out well, because you have the leadership in the different campuses. So we have a lot of programs that we have lined up. I encourage you to visit the website so you can be able to explore these, and we are going to keep engaging. I also want, Alex, before I leave, I want to bring to the attention of the members here that many of the things we are talking about, the executive has been thinking. For example, how do we make UMUA relevant to entrepreneurs who are alumni? How do we develop profiles of the different alumni? How do we operationalize chapters? And we have proposed in the constitutional review, all of these things I'm talking about are on the website. We have proposed in the constitutional review to restructure so that we create chapters based on organic groupings, not necessarily on regions in the country. For example, you could have a chapter that is constituted of people who started the same course, for example, or people who graduated the same year, and so on and so forth. We also have, in a bid to track, we have the alumni database, and we are going to invite each one of us to make sure that you log in that database. We are going to provide the information soon on the chat room. So we want to make sure that we capture everybody with their updated information. So I wanted to make sure that I do bring that out. I want to emphasize again on the constitutional review. If you go to the website, there are suggestions there that we have put there. So we want to invite you. We have developed a draft strategic plan, which is capturing all these beautiful ideas that people are raising. It is capturing them. So we want you to check it out, input, so that in November, during the General Assembly, we are able to approve these 2 documents, the Constitution, the new Constitution, which has been reviewed, and also the strategic plan. But I want to strongly encourage us to visit the UMUA website. There is a lot of information. As I said, there is a newsletter which has just been released today. It's already on some of the WhatsApp groups, and we will circulate it also by the emails through which some of you got this invitation. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Ambrose. You have preempted a question that I was going to ask you later. Thank you for those extra details.
I think this was the last opportunity I had.
You know, no, don't worry. We are managing time quite nicely. I'm just trying to make sure that we tap into the ideas across. So just to support you, David Busobozi had posted a link to the database where everybody needs to input their details. I have reposted it for everyone to check. I can also confidently say that the UMU alumni website has quite a lot of information, and it is time for for us to take advantage. It's an opportunity for us to grow with the executive, given all the work they have done so far. Now, I would like now to invite Bernard. Bernard, from your experience, how do you see UMUA, for that matter, tapping into government? And how sustainably can we do that beyond the sense of entitlement at times we proclaim towards what this entity government is? What are your views?
I thank you so much, moderator, and again, the entire fabric. I think I'll go back to Churchill, what he said, that ask what you can do for your government, not what the government can do for you. We all know the government we are working with. It has a million things, including COVID itself. So to look into the broader aspect of the available policy is what lies ahead. What is the policy framework in terms of business, in terms of networks, in terms of, what are the tax regimes? How can you start a social enterprise and thrive? To me, that is the broader aspect of business. But the nitty-gritties, as I said, they are in the detail. Now, I want to speak to the topic largely because I think there is an opportunity here, other than getting lost into the forest of the government, trying to pick the best tree out of a million. It's very, very difficult. But my take is that as alumni, we must network, we must encourage mentorship and coaching for the young people. We must put out resources within ourselves by way of exploring our own contact levels, but also deliberately outreach and mentor and coach the young people to grow into responsible citizens, but also entrepreneurs in terms of opportunities. The other aspect is that we need to start giving back to the university. There must be framework for the university to start receiving, but this must be done through careful, like choreography. You must create the research and innovation aspect of the university where alumni can come and support innovative ideas. I've seen it through pitching processes. People come with good ideas, but somehow you see there's a mismatch. Where do I, even if I wanted to put money into this idea, how do I come in here? But look at AstraZeneca, look at Oxford, look at Johnson & Johnson, all these medicines and vaccinations and, all this and everything has come through research pioneered by the university, but sponsored by alumni, by the corporate, by the business enterprises outside. So the university must look at how do we work with the alumni to create the entry point for the private capital to flow into research, into innovation, into ideation. That's the second. The third one is that we must inspire the young people to take charge of the future. Young people comprise of 60% of this population. And we have a growing economy, but jobless growth. There's growth without jobs, and it's a paradox. Why? Because of the limited, people are risk averse. They don't want to risk into manufacturing. They want to be in comfort zones, invest where they can save their future, like in property, in houses, in apartments, not in factories. Small and cottage factories cost a quarter of what it takes to buy a V8. A V8 are more on the road than factories. V8 vehicles, these are big guzzlers. It's $500,000 almost. So, but look at our entrepreneurs. The middle class is timid. They don't want to invest. Why? Because there's lack of mentorship, coaching from what go that, rather than going to the luxuries of this world, create opportunities. And we have done this at Nyungu ya Mawe. I hope I will get time to explore so much about what you can do with what you have to create value and impact broadly on the society. The other aspect is about experiential research pathways that lead into, that graduate ideas from passion to portfolio. As I said again, innovative ideas come out of the university research tank and aspect of the university, but they need to be commercialized. How do we create a very conducive environment to make sure that they graduate? The other aspect actually is we are into a knowledge and a sharing economy. We cannot run away from this, and it can never go back, because everything is about sharing ideas, is about finding the rightful partners, is about engaging the rightful-minded people, and we cannot go away from this. If you look at the aspect we have done at Nyungu ya Mawe Forest Park, which you can Google and find out, we have put a mere forest. This is around 25-acre estate, green zone, and conserved it as a green zone. But we are changing minds every day and then, engaging young people that you can sustainably use the environment to secure the future, but also create avenues for people to be enterprising. We have established very interesting models of how you can learn from, conserving, using polypropylene to build a house, using, creating aspect, an amphitheater, 1,500 amphitheater for people in the creative economy to thrive, to create jobs. And this takes just a mindset change. To me, this is very, very important. The other aspect is about, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So God willing, COVID will make us much more resilient and shock averse. The other aspect is that we must also look at the available resources. Yes, look at government, but government is saying, yes, we are giving you security, we are giving you what? But there's no framework for social protection, for example. You have seen how the vulnerable people are suffering with this COVID. I walk on the road, I drive on the road because there is a sticker in my car, and for me to get a sticker, I had to go on the database which requires internet which people in the villages do not have. But also to get a sticker to let you move from one area to another actually takes a lot of money to mobilize the resources and graduate into, moving from this to that and, compromise security. The vulnerable women, young people, and other people with disabilities cannot move anywhere. So the situation is getting worse for the vulnerable people. But the government we're talking about, we don't have the social protection frameworks for helping the jobless people. And it will not take that away to look at UMU, alumni. No. We must take the bull by its horn ourselves. The onus is on us. What can you do with what the little that you have at home, at your house, at your workplace, at the university? How can we create the change and the impact that we need? And to me, that is around creating and connecting the dots for impact. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bernard. A very impassioned account that connects to the points that Michelle made earlier as well. And perhaps another discussion for us is how we demystify what government is. Who is government? What is government? And the change that we can foster as a unique alumni association. How we can, as opposed to expecting government to do certain things, how we can actually attract government to learn from us, to partner with us, depending on who we define as government. So I think the points you have made are very critical and give a very good scope within which to begin shaping our role. Now, I would like to draw Annette in here. Annette, given your understanding of social capital in our case, what is that one thing you feel that we are not doing enough? I know you talked about it generally at the beginning, but having listened to the questions from the three people, and then of course the submissions from Ambrose and Bernard, what is that one thing that you feel we need to do more? All these things together.
Okay, thank you, Ambrose and Bernard. Actually, you've made my work easier. One key thing we need to take home is that we need to stay connected, stay engaged, show up, because there are alumni we don't even know where they disappear to. Or someone can be on a WhatsApp group or a group and they never comment on anything, they never do anything. So let's get connected, let's stay engaged, let's show up when others need us. Let's be there for each other. I like the database idea. If we are over 30,000 alumni for the 25 years Uganda Matters has been in existence, where are these alumni? Can we use our IT students to make this database more updated? It could be sectors, it could be with also matrices of numbers. We could use the same platform to post job alerts, to post maybe business clinics and different other things. Then we need to think around creating a fund of sorts or a foundation, an alumni foundation that can support some of these innovative ideas that the alumni have. Can this fund also support students to have scholarships? We need to think big on how to use this social capital, the alumni database, the alumni groups we now have and the numbers to see how we can further our other students, our alumni and fellow alumni. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Annette, for those, I mean, very two powerful contributions. The first one is, and I think we'll come back to this as towards the end. The first one is the role of, or the contribution an endowment can make. So Ambrose, I hope you're listening. An endowment and the potential that can help in raising funds and driving certain programs. And then the second, which for me connects the question from Cassius and the responses from Ambrose, is how we can use our students as drivers of the database. Because in the process, as they graduate, they become part of the association automatically. So there's the technical side of the thing, of the technical side of things where they specifically run the database. So registering people, doing the analytics on where people are, etc. But then there's the other bit where they become aware of this process while they are still students, and in the process stay connected with the association. So I find those as very key points that Annette has brought forward. Now, I know Michelle might have something to say now, but if you don't and can wait to the end as the program suggests, I would like to draw in the three people that wanted to ask questions earlier.
Yes.
I would like to
Yes.
start with, would you like to say something now or later? Okay.
Later.
Thank you, Michelle. So Dennis, Dennis Mubangizi, it's your chance now to say something.
Good evening, colleagues. Good evening. How are you? Dennis Mubangizi is one of the pioneer students in ethics and women studies. Currently still lecturing at Uganda Matters University. My idea was, and still is it possible for the alumni to come out with different professional associations? Like we have professional accountants, we form that profession as a consulting firm, M&E students, consulting firm, managers, consulting firm, like all the faculties, ICT. is it possible that the Alumni Association can further that idea? That was my idea.
Thank you very much, Dennis. And I see your thinking is synchronized with what Bernard raised, how we can, bring back and give back to the university while doing this, in a very enterprising manner. And I think it is key that these chapters that are related to what people are doing, either as professions or as occupations, are connected. Because who says we can't even mobilize, say, those who are into farming as a group, for example? So it is very key that we think about that, and I think Ambrose is capturing that. Next up is Jacqueline. Jacqueline, please go ahead. You had your hand up earlier. Jacqueline?
Oh, yes. Yes, I had my hand.
Jacqueline, we lost you.
Up. I first of all called Simon, Masters of. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, I'm in Karamoja. The network is very that poor.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, my concern is on how, because it seems the whole discussion is on how can we make the world better. And I like Bernard's discussion whereby he is emphasizing on reflection. As we alumni, for us to make an impact, an impactful change, we need, after seeing the challenges our are going through. It's good I'm employed by Straight Talk Foundation, and I appreciate that I got knowledge from there, but my concern is that knowledge is now this will have. Can you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me?
You can hear. Yes, but you're breaking. You're breaking. If you can.
Me now?
If you can quickly
Alex,
summarize so that we take advantage of the moment when we. Yes.
Yes. I'm answering the question of how that the best way out. Yes, the best of how we can get this on board. Yes. Hello? Can the alumni work together hand in hand with the university from the start? That is by programming. I see it is very important to have the impactful skills that by the end of our courses, we can be able to have where to begin from by having impacts, because I realize that it is the question of attitude that we end up with. Then at the end of the day, we get lost on the way. So my how is work together hand in hand with the university, programming at the start, especially the first years of where I can be of. At the beginning, let me be given two with knowledge and skills, and there. Back to you. Thank you.
And in many ways, what Annette brought forward as well. And I believe the leadership is listening. There is one other person who had their hand up earlier, Sempa, if I remember the name correctly. Sempa, are you able to speak now? Otherwise, I will invite Julius Amuda to say something.
Thank you very much, Alex. You have pronounced my name correctly. Amuda Julius, student of UMU 2015. I'm logged in all the way from Juba, South Sudan. And I'm really very grateful for this program, this conference that has come up. And thank you very much for sharing the link that we have got a number of alumni, but this is not what we could expect, because when we talk of alumni, we could surpass this number, we would reach 500, and that would be really good for us when we are discussing important matters like this one. I just want to have one or two questions. One, has this kind of coming together or reunion been happening in the previous years, or this is the first time we are having a reunion, so that we can reach out to all the alumni so that they can come on board so as to come up with tangible ways of how we can develop in the different spheres. And then if it has been existing or it has just come up this time, why can't we have it annually? And if annually, we can put it into different faculties so that we can have association according to the faculties, and we meet in different months in a year. And if this is possible, then this could be, can be good. And then secondly, we can have a lot of things to do during this time, like making fundraising to develop our associations, giving back to the university, so that we can easily have some projects running in each association, which will enhance the activities of the projects. In return, the sons and daughters of the alumni can get scholarships. They can be given priority. They can send the priority to get scholarships in the university. Thank you very much for this initiative. I'm really very grateful for this. Thank you, Alex. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Julius, all the way from Juba. That's very admirable, and I'm sure the executive is pleased by Julius all the way from Juba, then Jacqueline all the way from Karamoja, where there is obviously an internet challenge, but that effort is important. And I emphasize this because I believe the points you have made, Julius, will require joint efforts. If you go to the UMU alumni website, you will note that there have been a number of activities over the past few years that built on activities, you know, ever since as early as 1998, when alumni activities were initiated. So there are annual activities. This reunion today is an opportunity to bring us together, given the limitations we have following the COVID-19 and our inability to meet physically. So that is the motivation behind today. Otherwise, if you go to the UMU alumni website, you will see that there's a lineup of activities, and people like you with a good grasp of what is going on out there should join with the executive and support in different ways, especially, for example, in connecting with Juba and the fraternity in Juba, etc. So thank you very much for your contribution. Now I will invite John Emmanuel Etiang as well to give us his submission.
Thank you, Alex. Good evening, comrades. First of all, want good evening, thanks. I would like to just make a few comments. One, on the issue of the students, I think let it be on record that the students of UMU are associate members of the alumni. That should be on record. And therefore, I think there has been a bit of that gap that we did not consider them as associate members of the alumni. So whatever we're going to plan, I think let's emphasize that point, that they are not just they should not we should not target any. I mean, we should look at them as key stakeholders because they are associate members. The other issue, I see members, especially the new members, are seeing. I think do not see that there have been interventions. There have been some activities that have been there, like you said, Alex. The honest fact is we've had challenges from the beginning, just as Professor mentioned. And this was mainly because of the gap between the UMA administration and the alumni. I'm sorry to say that. Especially when Professor Lejeune left, we had a lot of challenges. But I'm happy to say it today. We managed to iron that challenge. And I think now we bridged the gap between the Alumni Association and UMOA. And the special credit goes to the outgoing Vice Chancellor. And it was against that background that even because there was an interim committee that was constituted, and we made sure that gap was cemented. And in the next election, that's how Comrade Ambrose was elected. So the real problem has been the gap between UMOA administration and UMA administration. And that's why we've had these challenges in mobilization. But with the resolving of that problem, now I think everything is okay. It's very unfortunate that with all the trust and the support we are giving the current UMOA administration, the COVID issue came in. And I think it has really undermined Ambrose's leadership, the effect of COVID. And this is the basis of this, the first online UMOA reunion. So I want to encourage members that everything now is well. A good foundation has been set. Let's pray that this COVID thing ends. We are now on the right track. The Women Association Executive is powerful. We are giving it all the necessary support. The demonstration is also giving us the support. So we are working on well, so everything is going to be fine. So let's just pray that the COVID issue and maybe, but let's take advantage of the current technological innovations like this to continue with all the ideas that have been floating. In whatever it does, it should also involve the alumni. Including the services. If you expect me to serve you, and yet you don't want me to serve you, it's also an issue we should also address. But that I think is going to be, has already been addressed by the good relationship that has been cemented. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel, John Emmanuel. John Emmanuel Etiang has a lot of institutional memory and is key to, making the connection between where the association started, the challenges it has had, and where we are today. And I would like to thank you for bringing across that message, because it's a message of hope, it's a message of confidence, it's a launchpad for the future, and it fits within this idea of confronting the future together. So thank you for your comments. I'm going to ask, I see Jurugo Stephen's hand up, and he's going to be the last to say something before we move on to the final half of today's session. So Jurugo Stephen, please go ahead and give your comments. I request you to be as brief as possible before we go into the final part of this reunion. Jurugo, please go ahead. Jurugo, have you unmuted yourself? Are you saying something? I think Jurugo put up his hand by mistake. So sorry if you're having challenges. I guess I'll replace Jurugo with Baine. Baine, please go ahead and say something. Please be brief as we get into the final half of final part of today's reunions. Baine, please.
Thank you very much. I also want to appreciate the organizers and Professor. My major issue is, let us also commit as alumni. Don't just mention the leaders of UMOA and at the same time the university. We as alumni, you as an individual, I as an individual, what is my input in this? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Baine. Baine, like Emmanuel, also has institutional memory and is key to reminding us of how far we have come and the potential we have. So thank you, Baine, for coming in and saying something. Now, 2 hours just went like that. We are left with 25 minutes, and this is the good thing about things that are short and sweet. So I would like to begin drawing us to the final part of today's session and invite our keynote speaker, Michelle, to respond, if I may call it that, or better, to tie everything together. Following the message you gave us at the beginning, what is that final message to connect the ideas that have come through as we move forward? Michelle.
Thank you very much, Alex. And thank you very much, everybody else. First, to help everybody, because I think there's still in a box somewhere at the Alumni Association, this little booklet. Can you see it? Alex, can you see the booklet?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes, we see it.
Okay.
Yes, we
now,
see it.
the Alumni Association must have about 1,000 copies. Can you please distribute it to the members? This is a bit of the history of the first years of the university. I had given you all these copies to make a bit of money for the association, but I think they're still rotting in a box somewhere. So, Ambrose, if you can do something, dig it out somewhere. And you may be making people happy if they have that. Good. It's difficult to summarize everything, but to draw a few lessons, but I'll try my best. It seems very clear out of all what has been said that the links between the alumni and UMU are weak, wobbly, sometimes even non-existing. And for an alumni association to exist and to be vibrant, it has to be tapping into what is happening at the university. That's where they get their ideas from. And the president of the association mentioned it. We would like you people to come in and help us to understand, etc., etc. So that's the first thing. There's a need to improve on links between the association and the university. Secondly, Bernard was very, very clear. We have to tap on the resources of our country. We are sitting, as he said, we are sitting on gold. Now, many of our alumni, and I was not aware that there are already 30,000, many of our alumni are precisely that gold. They're part of that gold. So they should also be able to help us, as Bernard said, to mine it. So let's not shy away of tapping on various resources, bring them together to the association and come up with new ideas. A word which came up pretty often is, how can we help students? But helping students is not only financially, that's one part of it, but in being students, in the various subjects they take, how to get better knowledge of the subjects, knowing that there are other people as alumni who could assist them to get some of the knowledge they cannot find anywhere else. The alumni should be, as I would call it, a hard disk of information for our students at the university. We have so much to offer. Well, I can see that somebody has linked up from Namibia. If you can see it on the screen, Kamanzi is on.
Yes, I'm on. Thank you, Michelle.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's important. How can we as alumni be inspiration to our students? Don't expect them always to come to you, sir, madam, can you help me? No, let's go to them and help them. There's so many ways to do it. That brings me to a third point. It was mentioned that students at UMU could help to set up a database. Well, yeah, a good database is important. And by the way, I've never received any information from the alumni since I've left Uganda Martyrs University. Now, I was member of the alumni right from the start, but I think I've been forgotten in the mist of history. So, my question is now the next one. To make the links with the university stronger and better, do the alumni have a representation on the university council? I don't know. But I think that's a very powerful means to keep those links going. And the relationship should be there. You know, we are the same, we are part of the same family. So knowledge should be passing on. And the university council is a very good thing. Sometimes I've heard people complaining about things are broken at UMU, things this, things that. But if we are there, we can also help through council to have things changing and improved. That means that as alumni, we have to be committed to help the university through being one strong group. That's essential to me. There was one question, I can't remember who said that. Wait a minute. I think it's Jordan. How can we influence the political world? Sure, we can influence the political world, but be careful there. It's a very tricky thing to do. It can be very wrongly interpreted. As alumni, we are not the politicians. And politicians are very jealous of keeping their domain to themselves. But we can influence. We can influence through our work and through informal meetings and so on. So these are a few of the things I wanted to bring as a kind of, not wrapping up, just a few ideas which struck me all through this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I will let our final two contributors to this session connect to the ideas you have brought forward. I would like to invite the UMUA president, who has been one of the panelists, but also rather one of the discussants, but also in his own role as president. I invite him to, to give a few remarks, perhaps doing the same, connecting, but I think more importantly, giving us confidence in how we are moving forward as an association. Ambrose, don't forget to unmute.
Yes, thank you very much, Alex. Thank you, Michelle, and everybody for the amazing spirited contributions. Kamanzi, all the way from Namibia, I guess you have logged in. That shows the spirit. One, Dennis Mubangizi and some other people talked about these different groupings of professionals, for example, from a common course, a common faculty like that. Now, again, I will keep hammering this. If you go to the website, you'll see some of the things we are proposing there. One of the things we are proposed in the constitutional amendment, which also features conspicuously in the draft strategic plan, is the idea of the chapters. So these different groupings that we are talking about, instead of them starting a new association, because the association is one, and I would mirror it to Rotary Club, as you see Rotary Club, how it operates. And in the newsletter, there is that kind of comparison. So different interest groups, if you want, of alumni, they can come together and start their own chapter, whatever criteria they use. Because the important thing at the end of the day is, do we have alumni together and in groups where they feel organically comfortable and where they can hold together. And then eventually we can look into the overall alumni association. So these will be really the grassroots centers for mobilizing alumni. So this ties in very well with what you are suggesting, Dennis, and also the other colleagues. Jacqueline, you raised, the one who called from Karamoja, you raised something very, very pertinent. I think it's just because of that time, but the point you are raising is about orienting students while they are still fresh about, the world of work, helping them to envision what the future is like, and then to use their time at university to actually prepare for that. Like Etienne has said, and other commentators, now the Alumni Association and the university management have a very good working relationship. And a number of times I've been invited to the university, sometimes in my personal capacity, sometimes in my capacity as the alumni president, to speak either to staff or to management or to the students' body or to the student leaders as well. And we have had conversations around some of these issues. If I were to be emphatic, I would say that there is a lot that needs to be done by the university, and also the university players do agree with that. And I think that the closer working relationship between the university and UMUA is going to help yield these results. One thing I will emphasize is that we need all the resourcefulness of all the alumni, the varied resourcefulness. So that's why when we mobilize, we would really urge all of us. Let this website now be one of those tools that bring us together, because there is, I'll give you an example. A few months ago, we did post there and said, we are inviting for alumni to nominate their fellow alumni for the Outstanding Alumni Award. Because there are many of us who are excelling. Some are working in Bank of Uganda, some are working in the private sector, some are working in government, others are working in NGOs, and they are doing amazing work. You saw how Dr. Joseph Sekandi was profiled in the media. We would like to have more of these because the stories are there. And so one of the things we called for is, can you identify an alumnus who you think deserves an award as an outstanding performer in society, as a career professional in their workplace, and so on. So, and also there is the option of you nominating yourself. Why not? So the forms are there on the website. Let's nominate people, and let's make sure that these stories come out to the public. That's just to give you an example. People are asking whether this is the first time. Yes, it's the first time to hold an online event like this, but thankfully eyes are being opened, it's not going to be the last. So on the website, we also called for people who want to make presentations, alumni who want to make presentations, like say on this forum. And we are saying, let it be bi-monthly. Some people are saying, let it be weekly. So we will wait for your suggestions. And so if already there are people here who want to make presentations on certain topics, please do get in touch with us. The email is provided there, events at alumni.com. I know that we are bad with time, but I want to emphasize that let us visit this website. And I'm inviting you to download. We are going to upload both the draft tonight, the draft of the strategic plan and the draft of the reviewed constitution. Please make your input so that at the end of the day, we can have these ideas rolling. But as I said before, almost all the things that we have suggested here have been catered for in the strategic plan. And now the thing is to collect the momentum to make sure we are rolling. I will not finish before acknowledging Mulo, Emmanuel Mulo, wherever you are. Yes, we have had lots of plans, as you've seen on the website, but somehow we were caught up by inertia, and maybe we were waiting for COVID to go. And one day I was on one of the alumni groups, and I saw Emmanuel Mulo asked, when are we going to have an online catch-up? And I picked it from there. I posted it with the executive group, and we're like, yeah, we have to get rolling. So Emmanuel Mulo, if you are not on, whoever is on, just know that we appreciate, we need this energy. The groups where I am, I see a lot of ideas, and I pick these ideas and share with my colleagues. And I know that these ideas will come to fruition. This may be the beginning, and a lot more will come. I just invite us to be actively engaging and visit the website. I will emphasize it. There is a lot of information. There are a lot of initiatives that some of you are going to be fascinated with. And I'm looking forward for the email inbox to be jammed when you are sending ideas and inquiries. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Ambrose. There are two people that I would like to draw in. One is our outgone Vice Chancellor. The other is Kamanzi Adalbatas. If you're still interested, I noticed you had a challenge finding where to raise your hand. But if you're still interested in saying something, I would like to give you a minute before I invite our outgone Vice Chancellor. So, Adalbatas, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Alex. It's really nice, first of all, to see some of you and hear some of you. Well, Ambrose, we are in touch. Etiang, when I came, there was Etiang. I'm sorry I'm late because today morning, again, another COVID casualty. You must have known my wife, Senga. She used to come at when I was at there. So she passed on today morning. So we are all in that kind of, organization of seeing this and that. I know Professor Michelle, you know her very well. Let her rest in peace. My small contribution is alumni, yes, but I think we didn't again tap something which I find resourceful within the alumni. I would like really that the lecturers or professors who have gone by UMU, whether as students or even as teachers, also have some role to play at UMU. What can we offer? That's my question as an alumni, as a lecturer who has gone through UMU. What can we do for UMU? I think we can do something via this virtual platform. That's my contribution. Otherwise, thank you so much. Professor Michelle, thank you so much. Alex, thank you so much.
Thank you, Adalbatas. And it's a good thing to see you from a distance. Now, I would like to, I see the temptation to pick people whose hands are coming up towards the end. Alex, I'm going to pick you because we are namesakes, but I'll give you 30 seconds only. Please.
Thank you, Alex. This is Alex from Washington, D.C. Does the alumni website have research initiatives going on within OMO? Because we're doing research this side, and I want to see how we can be able to help boost the research portfolio of OMO.
Thank you, Alex. And that's the reason why I picked you, because you are beginning to push for the things everybody has been talking about. Thank you, Alex. Ambrose, please register that. It needs to be clear where the inroads are for different initiatives. And I think Bernard is one who emphasized the importance of connecting the Alumni Association to the university and supporting any ongoing initiative. Now, there are two key people that are going to speak last. And I would like to introduce the first one, our outgoing Vice Chancellor, Father Maviri. Please share with us a few words. And then shortly after that, I will invite the acting Vice Chancellor to also say a few words and lead us in a closing prayer before we close today's reunion. So Father Maviri, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alex. I must say these have been very fruitful moments for me as I get myself introduced into the Alumni Association. As you have already remarked, I concluded my contract on the 30th of June this year, and I was happy to hand over to a transitional acting Vice Chancellor, Dr. Christopher Mukidi, who will speak to you after me. And I would like to remark that I'm happy that as I leave, the association is up and running. So I'm really grateful to the leadership of the association right now, and all that you have done really to put to life this, what I would call a dynamic interaction among the alumni. I'm sure it is going to improve, it is going to grow, it is going to be productive, and we will see the fruits of it. As I leave, Uganda Matters University now is 28 years of age, 28. And I'm happy that we have learned a lot of lessons during this time of the pandemic. What Michelle talked about, I have experienced togetherness that I've never experienced before at Uganda Matters University. As they closed, they put a first lockdown last year in March 2020. We came together immediately, and we experienced togetherness on this campus to the point that we actually never broke our activities in regard to the programs of the academic. And I'm happy that whoever was supposed to graduate in that cohort, they have all graduated. I'm really very, very, very happy. So togetherness can really produce imaginable results. And I think the alumni in togetherness will be very, very fruitful. On that note, I thank you, Michelle, for that very powerful intervention. I would like to say also that the relationship between the alumni right now with the administration or management is very good. And as I leave, I want to assure you that those who are there, they have already journeyed with you. And I also hope that the new leadership, whoever will take over as Vice Chancellor, will continue. The strength of the alumni can be felt, and I think it is going to grow stronger. The experience of COVID is putting the university on a new scale, such that what we have learned in this period, we will endeavor to strengthen even after COVID. Like learning online, that one I think will be strengthened and cannot be, we shall never go back. I'm sure it will never be the same again. So the lessons are very positive for Uganda Matters University. And as the alumni has brought in their expertise in different ways, I'm sure working with the alumni, the university is going to take its proper leadership in many things. And those are my few remarks. I will need more introduction into the Alumni Association. If my membership is accepted, and I don't know how it is accepted, I don't know whether I get a certificate or I get a, I've seen Ambrose clapping. I think I've been accepted. So thank you, Alex, for moderating us. And I wish everybody, everyone who has participated, all the best. May you succeed in whatever you are doing, and may our unity as alumni of Uganda Matters University grow from strength to strength.
Thank you very much, Father. It's a pleasure hearing from you, and the words of wisdom you've shared are key. I must say that you are automatically a member of the Alumni Association by virtue of having been the Vice Chancellor and who you are as a key contributor to the journey of Uganda Matters. So there's automatic membership. Now,
Alex,
yes, Ambrose.
Sorry for the interruption. There was a very critical question, just to put it at rest. We have a representative to the University Council, and that is Professor Vincent Bajire. He's among the pioneers, 1993, right over there. So yes, he's a professor of strategy at Makerere University Business School, and he's our representative, very, very able representative on the University Council. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that that reinforcement, Ambrose. Now, allow me to invite our acting Vice Chancellor, Father Mukidi, to give us his words of wisdom, and of course to connect and give confidence that the Alumni Association is part of UMU. I know there are people who still are not sure about that, but you being here from the beginning up to this point is confidence in itself. So, Father, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Alex. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself to some of the members who are present. I'm sure some of them don't know me. I'm Father Christopher Mukidi. I've been working as a registrar, and I will continue working as a registrar after this assignment. I was requested to act in the position of the Vice Chancellor from the 1st of July. The search committee is on, so we hope this process will be completed maybe in 3 months to 6 months. I would like to thank the executive for the Alumni Association for planning and executing this reunion. I thank the keynote speaker, Professor Michael Lejeune, for accepting to be the keynote speaker and for ably doing justice to the topic, confronting the future together. I thank the moderator, and the panelists for steering the discussions and sharings to the desired end. Finally, I thank all of you for honoring the invitations and participating in the discussions. I would like to address myself to 4 points in my remarks very briefly. The first one is to give you a general status of the university. When the first lockdown was announced by the president in March 2020 last year, WUMU was one of the few universities that continued teaching students online. This was because we were already implementing 2 projects, the SIA, that is transforming employability for social change in East Africa, and PEDAL, which stands for the Pedagogical Leadership in Africa. These 2 projects were already focusing on pedagogical innovations in teaching and learning. With their input, staff were trained to deliver courses in innovative ways, including online teaching so as to maximize learning outcomes. Along the way, students were also trained. At the time, the National Council for Higher Education was still struggling with how to proceed. When they finally directed that we had to apply for the online teaching, WUMU was among the first 4 universities whose teaching and learning online was approved. So owing to these innovations, WUMU, as the outgoing VC already told us, it remained open through online teaching and learning. And as a result, we have so far had 2 graduations. One was on December 18th, 2020, where we graduated 718 students. The second graduation took place on May 21st, 2021, where we graduated 1,144 students. Currently, we are continuing with online teaching for the academic year 2020-2021. The second semester for this year will end at the end of July 2021. This period of July, our students are currently doing examinations for the second semester online. So in brief, unlike some of our competitors, we have remained open on online through the 2 lockdowns. We thank the TESIA team headed by Professor Max Ngabrano and PEDAL headed by Dr. Dennis Musinguzi, who have played a pivotal role in this. Without these projects, I don't want to imagine what would have happened. The second point I want to talk about very quickly is the management's commitment to support the Alumni Association. Management is committed to support the alumni by remitting the funds to the alumni account that we collect from the graduating students every year. We are happy with the current executive in working very well with us on a number of issues. We commit to continue working well with them and the assembly as a whole. The third point that I want to talk to you about is on half tuition bursaries to all alumni. It is information. As a build-up to the celebration of the Silver Jubilee in 2018, Uganda Matters University established what we called half tuition bursaries to a number of people, including the alumni. As an alumnus or an alumna, you are entitled to front relatives or friends to benefit from the half tuition bursaries from Uganda Matters University. We look forward to receiving applicants through you. The fourth point is engaging the alumni professionals. As a way of taking WUMU to a higher level, one of the ways is to work closely with the alumni. Management would like to work particularly with the alumni professionals who can advise them on a number of issues. I know some of you are professors, bankers, consultants in so many different fields. Out of you, we would like to suggest that a think tank of not more than 25 people be selected by the executive at some point with whom we can keep engaging. I am personally interested in seeing how the alumni can take the university to greater heights. Lastly, it is a request. I would like to say that WUMU, like any private university, has a number of challenges, which in my view, management working with the alumni can help solve. We have mentioned, for example, of online teaching and learning, but our ICT infrastructure does not yet meet the mark for ably delivering online teaching and learning. The university ought to invest in servers, switches, and other internet accessories that make learning convenient. The alumni can play a key role here. About 3 years ago, we started the Faculty of Law, and we were given 2 years for the Law Council to confirm the accreditation of the course. One of the things that we were to work on was the moot court. Management put up a 2-storied law block, but because of cash flows, we could not complete these buildings. There are also many other things that need to be done, but we cannot do them due to lack of funds. Again, the alumni can also come in here. My request, therefore, through the executive, is to interest the alumni to support some developmental initiatives that can bring more life to the university. I know of alumni in some other universities who every year take on projects to do within their alma mater or for their alma mater. As the alumni carry on these and other projects, I believe their bond among themselves and with the institution will be strengthened. Finally, I thank all of you for attending this reunion online. From what we have shared, I'm sure we are a better alumni than how we came. With these few words, allow me to close this session with a prayer. God our Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we thank you for these wonderful moments you have enabled us to share together. We thank you for the gift of life and for the protection you have given us, particularly during this pandemic. We thank you, Lord, to continue to protect us. We ask you, Lord, to continue to protect us and our families and the entire alumni body. We make this prayer through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. The Lord be with you. May the Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, members.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Say bye to everyone. Have a wonderful
Thanks
week.
for all the organization. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you as well for coming. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Alex.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, Alex. Thanks for good work.
Bye, Alex.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ambrose.
Thank you,
Yes,
Alex.
Manzi.
Thanks a lot.
I'll send you a
Hi,
link
Joe.
now.
See. Hi, Joe.
Thank you.
Good. Now
All right. Bye.
Yes, Kamanzi.
Cheers.
I'm sending you a link, Ambrose.
Bye, boss.
Okay. I think.
How are you?
Whoever we are, whatever we do, we make a difference. We do it for you. Now look where we are. We shine like a star.
Alex, can you look for me?